Drive match the link to sprocket and remove the 4 bolts to split the track. Here's where the dual cone seal is leaking from. Remove dust shields and bolts to the sprocket. Leave one bolt partially threaded on so the sprocket doesn't fall off when it gets loose. Using a hammer, encourage the sprocket to come loose.
This is another view of the dual cone seal leak.
Drain the final drive oil and remove the cap and tighten the jack screw. Remove the cap from the pinion gear and using a slide hammer remove the pinion gear shaft. Remove all the bolts from the housing and gently encourage the housing to come off.
Unbolt cap for main shaft and remove main shaft. Seen here is the damaged dual cone seal. Dual cone seal adds viscous seal using 2 rubber springs and metal face seals between the housing and the main shaft. Clean all components with the parts washer. Weld a bead onto the outer bearing race. Then use a punch to remove the race. Cool the new outer race to shrink it and tap into the housing using a softer metal. Remove old gaskets and replace. Use grease on the new gaskets for better adhesion. Heat up the bearing for new shaft with the induction heater. Drop onto main shaft and use a soft metal bar to bottom it out. Place the dual cone seal on the base of the main shaft and the other half of the housing. Use some grease to help it stay in. Place spacer on the main shaft, lower housing onto main shaft.
Bolt on main shaft cap and use a dial indicator to measure end play. To do this, slowly lift up on the assembly and measure the movement. The proper spec is 6 thou. Add proper impacts. Use heel bars to align housing on dowels, then bolt to machine. Install the pinion gear and shaft and bolt down the cover. Check preload using feeler gauges. This measurement should be 13 thou. Add the proper thickness of shims. To finish, install the drain pan, sprocket, and dust guards. Fill the final drive with oil and install tracks.